Morning, kiddos. We're going to talk more about gears again, except we're going to talk about the cartilages that go inside the motors, the Vex motors. You'll notice we have a blue, green, and red. Um, Red being torque, low speed, blue being high speed, low torque. Green being the middle ground. Um, uh, Kind of like a balance between the torque and the speed. Um, you can look at the ratios. There's 36 to 1 or 18 to 1, 6 to 1. I noticed that the blue is high speed at 600 RPMs. What does RPMs mean? Revolutions per minute or rotations per minute. In other words, that's how fast it rotates. So this is being the fastest rotation, and the high torque is the lowest rotation, which is 100 RPMs, which is revolutions per minute or rotations per minute. And the green being uh, 3 times less than the blue, but 1 times greater than the torque, which is 200 RPMs per minute or rotations per minute or revolutions per minute. 18 to 1 is the ratio on this one here. The cartilages go inside the motor. You take these 4 screws out, take the top off. This comes off the top. You pull the cartilage out, and let's say you want to change the cartilage. You put the other one in, same way you took the other one out, and you might have to wiggle a little bit to get it in. And now we just changed it to the speed, the 600 RPMs. Or we can take this one here, put it in. I had to wiggle it a little bit to make sure it drops in, but it needs to go in. If you put the cover back on, if it doesn't set down easily, there's something wrong. Okay, like for instance, I'm struggling with it. So that means is I've got it in backwards, and I did it deliberately. So you'll see that when you see the color of it, and see how it's not going in, this little teeth in here are not just right lined up yet. I gotta get it. That means it's just out of place. Now you see how it dropped in? If you'll notice when you put the cover on, you see nothing but color. You will not see this little indentation. The indentation is towards the thread part of the motor right here. And the simple reason is that look, I'll show you. When you put it on, this one goes in through into the, it has this little hole that the screws go into, okay? But this other side has this little indentation for this thread right here. So if you look at it, this lines up with this little plastic rise, and then this one lines up with the going space to put a screw in. So right there, like that, and then you would tighten them back down, and then your cartridge would be in, right? And we just put the 100 RPM, high torque, low speed, red one in there. So again, you take the cartridge, put it in. If it doesn't fit right in, but that one did, but sometimes you might have to turn this a little bit in there. Don't try to force it or anything. If it doesn't easily drop in, just tiny wiggle it lightly. If it doesn't, just give that little gear a little turn a little bit to get it lined up. All right. Don't over torque these screws. Just get them snug. Don't try to tighten them as tight as you can, because you pull them up and pull the threads out, and then I'll have to repair them. If you put this in wrong, it'll cause the motor to overheat and cause it to burn up. There's a circuit board in there that can get too hot, Matter of fact, some of the conditions you have during the competitions is when you're using these motors a lot, they just tend to overheat, and when they do, they shut down. They have a stall point, and they can only handle so much. So care of the motors is vital, and not overworking them. For instance, in this competition, you're going to use probably the high RPM, and it's going to be slinging a disc, and you're going to have a tendency to leave that disc running all the time. I mean, the disc launcher all the time, which will take its toll on that motor and cause it to overheat. So take care of that motor and don't let it work too much, because if you're dead in the water, you can't compete. So you got to take care of it. All right. Again, the blue is high speed, low torque. The red is high torque, low speed, and the green is in between the two that Vex has. Right. Hopefully that answers some questions. Again, take care of the motor. If you have trouble with the cartilage or getting them in there or any problems with the motors, please come see me. I will help you solve the issue. All right. Thank you guys, and have a good evening.